Hey folks, I want to share with you today how I made the wood floor of this photo right here. I'm putting together a Popeye set, and I just figured I'd take the time to share with you an easy way that I created a wood floor using this XPS pink foam from Home Depot, which seems to be, in my area, getting tougher to find. But anyway, they come in a 2 foot by 2 foot squared section. I'm cutting that into quarters here, and I'm going to use 2 1x1 sections for the dia ultimately. But anyway, on this first floor part where I make the wood, I'm marking out 1/2-inch lines. Actually, I screw up there and I mark 1/4-inch lines, and I don't realize it until I turn it around and try to line them up, and I'm like, this doesn't line up. That's what I do, man. So anyway, we get it right. We mark off 1/2-inch lines, and then I flip the panel around, and then I just draw straight lines across to make the long wooden slats. And instead of marking them with a pin all the way across, I just cut it with the razor, a sharp razor, preferably, because those razors go dull pretty quick as you pull them through the foam, and you'll tear. At this part of it, you don't want tearing. You really want it to be a clean, crisp line. You add the tearing later on purpose, with a different tool. But that's really what I'm doing. I'm just making long lines, man. And the wood floors are pretty simple to make. And I figured, since a lot of my tutorials are just the photography part of it, I would maybe bore you guys and gals with the part that leads up to the photography, where I actually try to make stuff. So here I have some popsicle sticks, and all I'm doing here is I'm going through each one of those long lines that I created, and I'm using the popsicle stick because it's kind of the length that I want, and so I just go through and I make individual boards. And something to think about here too is stagger the boards. Don't just make them all where they all join together, like evenly. Stagger them. Otherwise it's gonna look kind of lame. And that's all I'm doing here is I'm just going through with the popsicle stick, and this keeps my length of board consistent. And I make shorter boards as they run off the edge of the pink foam to give the illusion that they continue on. And I just stagger them on through the foam here until I get to the end, and that's it, man. You can see it looks basically like making a big brick wall, except it's a lot longer. Then I just go through here and I make my individual cuts for the individual boards that I went over with the pencil. I just go ahead and bring my X-Acto knife through the pencil marks here, and make them as straight as possible. You'll be able to tear them up and add texture and stuff to them later, but really this part doesn't have to be super. I mean, you're going to ultimately make a distressed aged wooden floor, so you do want some consistency in it. But and what I did here is I just wanted to really drag my pencil back through the lines that I cut with the X-Acto knife to open them up a little bit, and that's going to allow the black wash to get in there, and the airbrush that I'm going to do later to it. When you open the lines up like that with the pencil or whatever tool you want to use, it opens those lines up to receive dark pigment down into all those nooks and crannies, and that's what's going to help give the piece ultimately some, dark and aged looking spots in it. And so at any rate, now that we've got that done, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm going out of frame to get, this is a really cool trick. Now I've seen people create wooden texture with pencil ends and, wire brushes. It just happens that I like to use a piece of wood. And this is just a wooden shim from, you can buy them at any Home Depot store, or you can just use the end of a popsicle stick that you've broken off and drag it through the foam. See, it creates a really nice wood texture. doing it with pencils and pens with no ink in them and stuff, it just takes a long time. This here, I just break the shim off to the width of the piece of wood that I'm creating on the foam, and man, I drag it through there, and you can see it's pretty dang quick. Now I'm using also another piece of wood just to go through and distress each piece of wooden floor slat where they join together so that they're not so crisp and clean, from the X-Acto knife. I mar them and I jagged them and I, create a lot of texture and pock marks just to help, sell the idea that these are, some wooden floor slats with some age in them, and, they didn't age very well. And I'm just making a smaller piece here with my X-Acto knife and going through there and just banging it up, man. However you see fit, man, mark the heck out of that thing and create all your texture. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. As long as you get the texture in there, and it looks good to your eye, man, it looks good. It's, there's no formula to it, and then I'll bring my very, very tip of the X-Acto knife through here, just creating some long little broken split, areas in the wooden slats here. And that just really helps also sell the idea that this wood has seen some, it's seen some action. It's been around for a minute. And, and that just helps, like I say, sell that whole feel to the piece. And there are better ways to do this, and there are other ways to do this. This is just my way to do it. And like I said, I wanted to share it with you folks so you could see what goes into making one of these, panels, And then I got King Diamond in the background. Look at that. Woo, Abigail, baby. Anyway, that's what I was listening to. I like to listen to my music. Unfortunately, I can't listen to the music and make a YouTube video because it will strike me. So I have to voice over the settings. I'll have to voice over the video. So anyway, here is the painted piece. I airbrushed it. And now I'm going to dry brush it just to add some highlights in here, something to break up all the brown and give it a little bit more depth. Just really, really lightly drag a stiff brush across the ridges of the foam board here. And the ridges of the texture from the wooden stick that I drag across, they're going to pick up all that white. And it's just going to create some highlights in there. Nothing overly bright, but just enough to break up all the dark brown and give the eye something to, something to see. And here I'm dry brushing a dollar store chair, dollhouse chair. I airbrushed it and I did some work on it with a black wash and a sponge. And I'm just dry brushing a few highlights on there. And that just goes to help complete the scene also that I'm ultimately going to make. Those dollar store chairs, you can find a lot of cool dollar store dollhouse products at the dollar store. I can't say it right. But, and that little chair was $1. It's one of the cool things about it is they come with a lot of imperfections, and like one leg will be shorter than the other, but that's cool because that totally adds to the, the scene. Those imperfections, whoever put those chairs together did me a favor. I built this really cool box out of popsicle sticks also, and some rope that I bought. And just sort of dry brushed it and airbrushed it, and really cool. I think it really goes well with Popeye, and it's going to be a fun set when I do it. Here's another really cool sort of long footlocker type box that I made with the popsicle sticks also and hot glue. And you can see some dry brushing on there and some airbrushing also. This is just really fun stuff. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do it. At the end of the day, if you get done what you wanted to get done and it looks pleasing to your eye, man, you did it right. I mean, all you're doing is you're dragging a popsicle stick through some foam to scratch it up. But look at the overhead view of this. Oh man, this is so exciting. I mean, I really like the way that this stuff comes out. It's just really a fun thing to do. It does take time, it's not something that you can do overnight. And, it took a few hours to make this, but at the end of the day, I went from that pink foam to this, and it just made something really cool and unique, and it's going to help me photograph Popeye in a really cool way. And I have some other wooden dial panels too that I made with some of my Jason figures and stuff. Here, what I was trying to decide if I wanted to do was add some nails. Now, I didn't want the nails to be so bright that it took away from, that it looked out of play. They looked out of place on the brown foam board. So I just went with a sort of, subdued sort of pewter color. And I'm not going to put them on every board. I'm going to put 2 here and 1 there, and just kind of, they don't need to be on every single board. Not only because I just didn't think it looked right, but I didn't feel like doing it. That's the main reason. I didn't feel like doing it. But, like I say, it's up to you, man. This is your thing. This is my thing. It's how I'm making it. And ultimately, it's going to create an awesome photo, man. And it's going to give me some personal satisfaction. And I'm going to be able to share this art with other people. And, it's just going to be cool. Now here, as I typically do, I thought it would be a good idea. It looked good in my head. I put it on the wood and it sucked. So I just wiped it off with my shirt. You're not going to see that anyway. No, Photoshop that out. No big deal. But, I just ultimately didn't like the way it looked. And they've got little fine tip Sharpies of different colors that could make awesome nail points that would be really cool. See, and I used those popsicle sticks and made those boxes. So it's pretty cool, Now, those barrels, I bought them on Amazon. They're these barrel of slime. I bought a whole case of these things. It's like 12 of them in a case, like $14 or something. But I bought them because I didn't want to have to keep trying to find ways to make cool looking barrels. So I bought these, and then I left the slime inside of them. And all I did was I just spray painted them with rattle can, created some cool looking little labels that I thought went with the scene, glued them on there, and and I created I've got some really cool barrels, and I've got a lot of cool black slime too. If anybody needs any slime, let me know. But I can link these in the description too down below if anybody wants to get on Amazon and buy some of these, and they can have a whole case of them for their dials, and it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $15, man, and you get I think you get 12 of them. But look at that, really cool, man. I'm happy with this. I hope you folks, like tutorials like this. I can include more of them in my on my channel instead of just the photography end of it. I can create more videos that share the process before the photography. And at any rate, like and subscribe, folks. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the interaction. Follow me on Instagram at insightful_imagery, and Facebook also at insightful imagery, or just my name, Michael Ducker. And we'll see you in the next video.